Welcome to Coffee Time Thursday. We dedicate Thursday to sharing on topics from New Thought and authors from the past. Let's get started.
Okay, Divine Source, we are here today to be here for each other. We are here to learn and to shine the light of truth on each other. We are so grateful for all that is and as we are, and we are so blessed. We are thankful for your clarity, for your wisdom, for your order, and we are so thankful. And so it is. Amen. I imagine you've heard the story of two monks. Two monks were standing by a river and they saw a young woman. They knew they were not supposed to touch women, a younger monk and an older monk. The younger monk didn't say anything. The older monk promptly walked over and helped the woman cross the river. After they got across the river, he put the woman down and the monks walked on for a while. And the younger monk said, "How could you do that? You know we're not supposed to touch women." And the senior monk looked at him and he said, "You've been carrying this since we were at the river. I only carried her across the river." And I share this story because I think it talks about when we are worried or if we are regretful, we are not in the present moment. And like the young monk, he was so worried about what he thought was appropriate behavior that he could not see that it was an appropriate thing to do. And that worry robbed him of giving a gift and more awareness that he couldn't get because he was stuck in his own concern. And so I wonder, what does this story share for you?
Nancy, I've read that story somewhere. Is that out of a book?
Um, I thought it was out of an Eric Butterworth book, but I couldn't find it in it. I don't know which book it's from.
I'm sure it's from one of them. I've read that story again.
Mm-hmm.
And it really resonates with me because I could be either monk. And I tend to take longer to say something than what is healthiest for me and best in this situation for a couple of reasons. One is I don't want to speak from anger. And if I'm angry about something, I don't communicate the way that I want to. Above and beyond all else, I want to be proud of the way I handle things when I can. So sometimes I won't say anything, or I tell myself I won't say anything because I might not be proud of the way that I say it. But I am learning a little bit more every day to let you know I have feelings about this and I'm processing my feelings about this. And maybe that's all I'll say is like, wow, that was really unexpected. I have a lot of feelings going on right now. I want to talk to you about this later. And for me, that's a much healthier thing than keeping it in my mind and ruminating about it. What should I say? What really happened? What did they mean? Are you kidding me? Whatever it is, if I know that I've told you, oh, this stirred something up, you triggered something in me. I need to process a little bit, but then we'll talk about it. that way I've identified it. I'm not running from it. I'm not hiding from it. And I'm not going to um, jump on you a year later about something that happened a while ago. It's like, what are you even talking about? I don't remember that. And I've done that too, and people are going, where are you coming from? So if I tell you, whoa, that I've got a reaction that I want to share with you when I'm ready, I feel like I'm not continuing to carry it as much. So I don't know if that made sense or not.
I'll share. Living in Mexico has been a new experience because I too, I worked in law all my life, and you have laws. And if you're not supposed to pick up that person, you don't pick up that person. I mean, you could go to jail. I mean, there are some laws that you don't break. And yet I think the older monk was the wiser, in that I've carried judgments and anger for years about someone else doing something I thought they shouldn't, and didn't express it, or even if I did, expressed it in a way that killed them with my words. And it's much easier, especially here. We have one-way streets, and there are laws that say you go one way, and there are street signs. And all laws here, the consensus is, and the group consciousness is, all, especially street signs and driving laws, are only suggestions. So you learn to go with the flow. And I do it quite easily now. I can drive up a one-way street the wrong way, no problem. You just pull over, because there's only about room for one car when there are two cars parked on each side, one on each side. So you've got to pull over, and you just be patient. There's no hurry, and you'll get where you're going to get in the right time. And I never see a policeman that stops anyone for going the wrong way on a one-way street. And it's less hard on me, because I'm not carrying a burden of everybody should drive one way on these one-way streets. Darn, they should do it the way the rule is. And sometimes rules are made to be broken. And I learned that working for an attorney in a biotech company, that there were strict deadlines. You had to get this report in, and he would never get a report in by the deadline. And nothing ever happened to him. So, but he was a big muckety muck in the company. So, how important is it that I suffer? Can I ask to, if I'm going to miss a deadline, can I just say, I'm sorry, I can't get it to you by that day, but I'll get it to you tomorrow? Where you can communicate in a way that works for you, rather than carry a burden that I have to do this and I have to do it today, and I don't like that rule. And where can you give up the rigidness of making other people wrong when they just see another way to do it? That's, nothing's wrong, it's all right. He got the woman across, and they got across, it worked. So, interesting topic. Thank you for letting me share my 2 cents.
That's wonderful. I heard this story also many years ago in a recovery setting, so I'm very familiar with it, and I'm very familiar with both sides of it too, especially the one that carried the resentment for a long time. And I learned that being resentful was like drinking poison and wanting someone else to die, because it takes the toll on us and not them, because the elder monk had let it go. He had set it down. He set it down with the woman. He just did what he thought was the humanly and kindly thing to do. And for years I was stuck in that. And I really relate to what Linda said about how getting to know myself, now I can say, hey, I need to process this, or you know what, that didn't sit right. Let me see, let me work on it. My only caveat to that is sometimes I don't mention to them that I'm processing it. I just kind of start processing it and they're like waiting for an answer. Like, no, I need some time on that one. So I have to be more upfront about this is what I'm doing and this is what I'm going through. And I need a moment to think about it because I don't know. There's, especially being in a relationship, being married, there's all of this stuff that I learned when I was in recovery, especially when I first was in recovery. I was single, so it was all understanding and I could get it. I absorbed it, and soaked it in. And then when I started having relationships, it became a whole new game because it's like, then I got to take it into relationship and I've got to be able to work this too in real time, So it's still a learning process for me and I'm still working on it because I am a work in progress. And I'm grateful for the understanding that it's okay to be where I'm at and take care of who I am and make my statement about I need more time to think on this, and that's okay too. And be okay if they say no, I need an answer now, and then just have to give them the answer that that comes. I house full of kids, they want to know and they want to know now, and you're like, hey, I have to think about this for a minute. One of the things that happened just last night is Frankie came and asked if he could go to the desert with these guys that he knows for 4th of July. And I don't know these people, and one of them's ex-military. He's like 22 years old, and they're friends of Frankie's from online. And I mean, the world's so much different than it was years ago. And I told him, I don't have an answer for you, and we've got time and stuff. But I noticed when I went to bed, I was feeling sick to my stomach. And I had to tell my husband, I said, look, I feel really nauseous. And I don't know if that's fear bubbling up or what, but I cannot think about this right now. So I just, one of the practices I used to do was pray the rosary with some friends, which is very meditative to me. So I started going through that automatically. I didn't even realize, I started going through that, and it was helpful for me to be able to drop it right then, because I would have been up all night long, and, so acknowledging what was going on with me and then trying to meditate my way through it, I was able to get to sleep and get up this morning and then not have to carry that real angst. I mean, there was a lot of anxiety around that. So that will be to be continued as well. Does anybody else have anything else, or shall I pray us out? Okay, this is a wonderful topic. Thank you. Let's gather here for just a moment and say, Father, Mother, God, we thank you. We thank you for the insight from all these amazing women and their truth and their connection with you, because we know that through these words, someone heard what they needed to hear. Through your words, through your passion in our hearts, you were able to send a message to others. And that message will go on and on from one to the next as it flies around the world with love, knowing that we live in truth. We live in truth. And we show up here day in and day out to be the love of your life and your light in the world, and to share with everyone all of your wisdom. We thank you so much for this time. Thank you. Thank you. Amen. Thanks for joining us today, and we hope to see you tomorrow. Make sure you like or not like, whichever you prefer. Subscribe so that you can stay abreast of what's going on, and join us again for more information, more talk and chatter and ideas on how we as true students live our lives and connect to you. Blessings.
Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next week. If you want to be a part of the conversation, comment below, like, and share with your Coffee Time friends.